Good afternoon, Conner Prairie staff and board members. We're standing right here in front of the Museum Experience Center. If you will remember the last time we did this hard hat tour, we went in the employee entrance, and that's because the front was closed off. It wasn't done yet. But now we're looking at the new front entry. You can see the storefronts are on. It's being completed. And I want to take you on just a real quick updated tour of the spaces that have really changed just in the last 2 months since our last hard hat tour. Come on in. Well, here we are inside in the great hall of the Museum Experience Center. And as you can see, it has quite a bit of volume. I'm actually standing almost in the middle where the membership desk will be, where we will greet guests as they come in and where we'll also hopefully convert to memberships. To my left is a wall where we'll have video monitors that'll help explain everything there is to know about what's happening at Conner Prairie on any given day of the week. And behind that are the restrooms and the school entry area where school groups will have their own entryway into the building. To my right is the new retail center, and I know that Dan's really excited about that, and that'll be right up front. As you can see, it's very open, including the windows at the outside, so it's really a really good way to talk about our mission, but also sell merchandise. Let's go down the hallway past the new conservation studio and kind of see the temporary and changing exhibit gallery and some other office spaces. Follow me. So we've just walked down the ramp from the front lobby and walked right past where the new conservator studio is going to be. This is going to be an office area for our collections manager and our interns. This is where we're going to be bringing out objects from our collection to do preservation as well as conservation activities on it. And you're going to see it's wide open, so we have this wonderful glass storefront where people will be able to view in and actually see the work being done. Right around the corner is a visible window, or a window into the collections, where we'll have visible storage. So we'll have part of our material culture. Our objects will be displayed in this space in the conservator studio with the work being done, as well as the ability to see the objects in the vault itself being displayed that way. So if we come walking down the ramp past the conservation studio, if you turn right instead of going straight into the temporary exhibit gallery, you begin to get into some of our business operations area. So we have a development or donor room to the right. The offices here is where we're going to have our marketing and communications team, and down the hall is food and beverage. And as we turn the corner, we actually head into the area that's going to be where the library is. So we'll have our research library, but this is where Ryan Shank and digital media as well as research will be taking place. And then farther down the hallway as we go, we actually have the volunteer lounge. You might remember this is where Discovery Station was. So we're in the hallway that actually leads out to the Bloom. And you can see the doors are still there, but as we walk down, if we take a left, we'll actually be entering into the area where the staff office is, as well as the interpretive locker rooms and the staff lounge and the EMT space is. It's still offices, but it's been reconfigured for offices. You can see there's multiple office spaces, and there's going to be open area where people will be hoteling, and then we'll also have cubicles and things. And this is where primarily interpretive program staff that are doing that type of work will be housed. So now we're standing in the area that's historic clothing, and behind me is actually offices as well as the laundry room. And you can see this is a much larger space than historic clothing used to have. You would go by the volunteer lounge, and this would be the door that would open, and you would go up to the steps to go out. Now we've actually built the new Prairie Overlook building, and so this is the underneath area where we have the mechanical, and above us is the Prairie Overlook. And if I go this way, this is actually the new way to get out to the grounds. And so there's a hallway that leads to a door, and that door has the steps that goes out to the Golden Eagle. So here we are in the temporary and changing exhibit gallery. You might remember this space as where we used to have Create Connect and Spark Lab and other areas like that. And above me was a complete hole in the building, if you will, going all the way up to the Oculus before. So now you can see with the ceilings in here, this is over a 3,000 square foot changing and temporary exhibit gallery. So guests will have the opportunity to enter into the new galleries. And the first experience they have is Power of Place. It's our new immersive walkthrough experience that tells the power of this place, of Conner Prairie. As I walk in, you're going to see We're beginning to get some of the wall structures in place for the immersive experience for Power of Place. So we've just walked out the doorway of Power of Place, and you can see as you turn right, you actually go through the portal into Wellspring. The big, huge feature in Wellspring is the sycamore tree that is representative of the sycamore trees that are on the banks of the White River around the Oxbow bends that we're all so fond of. As we continue to walk around, you can see beginning to see the different interactives of how these icons and spaces come together. And you can see there's quite a view up here. We're looking at the entire space, and you get more of a sense of the fact that the White River is below us, and we're on the banks of the White River, and this is one of the great trees that's on the banks. And then I'm not going to go inside, but you can see that here's where you enter in, and you go in, and there's various climbing and slide elements. You can get the full feel of how this interacts with the room. So I'm standing here in the hallway, like we've come around the corner from Power of Place, and if you look down the hallway to the right is where the old overlook and the new meeting space is, and directly behind these walls are what used to be Woodland North and South. They're all being reconfigured. Well, actually, new carpeting, new wall coverings, new ceilings, so all new finishes. The size of the rooms and the configuration remains the same. You can see that the cafe space is actually nearing completion as far as the finishes are concerned. And if I continue to point this direction, you're going to see the area where the Spark Lab will be installed. To the left is the doorways that is the exit for the History Gallery and the Torn exhibit. We've walked through the area where I mentioned that the Spark Lab is. There's exhibits that leads this way and then wraps around, and then the entry to Torn is actually the hallway that's right off of Wellspring. And so this is like we've entered the exhibit, and I'm about halfway through before I wind my way back out to where the Spark Lab is and the cafe and the exit to the grounds. For those of you that remember the building before, we're actually standing in the space where the Lilly Theater was to my right, and then you had the meeting spaces like Delaware, where we had program areas before it stepped down into the landing. So this is that space that actually extends out and is now the flex space. Directly behind me is the Prairie Overlook, where we'll have some overflow for cafe, but we'll also have, this will be a space that we can use for programs, overflow for school kids or student groups on rainy days, but also a place where we can rent. You're really getting about a 210-degree view of everything Prairie has to offer. And as you walk through these doors, it takes you to the doorways, and there's the ramp that goes out that takes you around and down to the grounds. I hope you've enjoyed this video hard hat tour today, and you see just how much has been accomplished since the last tour that you were on. We'll continue to do these, especially as our exhibit spaces begin to fully develop and we have all of the finishes done, to just continue to tease out what this is going to look like when we open the Museum Experience Center at the end of March of 2026. We hope to see you then.